Good morning. Morning. Welcome to KPC, and hello to those joining us online. We're here Saturday morning to do meditation together. And before we begin any activity, we really want to focus on our motivation. Why are we here? Why are we doing this together? So we always want to start by generating compassion for all sentient beings, and making that wish that our meditation will benefit them. So let's take a moment to do that now, to give rise to our bodhicitta, which again is that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So we're going to start with opening prayers. So we'll recite the 7-line prayer 3 times in Tibetan, and I'll put it up on the screen now so you can chant along. Orgenyu nu chamsam pemage sardompola yasun shogi nu drumne pemajune shesudrag koryu kandrom mampokor keki jesu dag drupki jinjilop shir sheksu sol guru pema siddhihum Orgen nu chamsam pemage sardompola yasun shogi nu drumne pemajune shesudrag koryu kandrom mampokor keki jesu dag drupki chinjilop shir sheksu sol guru pema siddhihum Orgen nu chamsam pemage sardompola yasun shogi nu drumne pemajune shesudrag koryu kandrom mampokor keki jesu dag drupki chinjilop shir sheksu sol Guru Pema Siddhihum. So in this class today, we'll be doing 3 different types of meditation. So we will stabilize our minds and also open our hearts with these meditations. The first meditation that we will be doing is a Shamatha meditation, or calm abiding meditation. And each week we always want to rediscover or go over what is meditation. So reminding ourselves why we're doing this and what is the state of meditation. So the meditation is the natural state of your mind when it's relaxed, when it's stable, and when it's open. So it also trains our mind to be in this state, relaxed and open, and yet also alert and wakeful. And when we can have more stability and spaciousness in our mind, then we are able to be less reactive. We are able to have kind of a space or a pause between our actions and our reactions. We can balance our emotions better. We can deal with whatever life brings our way, and we can respond with a more stable and spacious mind. So the trouble is we have a habit of the mind being very unsettled and very inflamed and very reactive. So our mind can run wild, and it can feel agitated and wound up, or maybe out of control, and the mind controls us rather than the other way around. But just in the same way that we care for our body, maybe we exercise, we can also care for our minds and use meditation, use this muscle again and again to train the mind to be more stable, to train the mind to be more spacious. So we can work with this. This is something that we can practice and we can show up for again and again for our meditation practice. And you know, the benefits of that is of our meditation practice really come to be when we do this in a consistent way. We see the benefits of our meditation practice and the spaciousness and how it transforms our mind. And it's very important on the Buddhist path because it's the very first step in developing our bodhicitta, which again is that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So if we don't have any spaciousness in our mind, it's very difficult to think of other beings, to think of how can we be of benefit to other beings? How can we think of the suffering of other beings and not just ourselves? So again, it's really important on the Buddhist path. So we want to, in calm abiding meditation, we really want to just focus on the breath. So that is where our focus is. You can also do this practice by focusing on, let's say, a candle or a flower or a statue. But today we're going to focus on our breath, and our breath is always with us. So we can do this wherever we are. We can take this wherever we go. So we're going to take a comfortable seat, and whether you're in a chair or on the floor, just want to make sure we have a straight spine. Our spine is straight, our shoulders are back, our elbows are back, and the traditional way to hold our hands is the right hand over the left with the thumbs touching. If it's easier, and then interlap. If it's easier to have our hands on our knees while we're sitting in a chair, we can also do that. So again, we have a relaxed posture, but it's lifted, our spine is lifted. We're actually just going to gaze down towards the floor. So our eyes remain open during this meditation, and they're just relaxed. Our gaze is relaxed, almost like if we draw a line from the bridge of our nose extending down, we're picking a point on that line to rest our gaze. And then we're just going to breathe naturally. It might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural rhythm of your breath. So you can do that. And we actually let a little bit of air go through the mouth with this meditation. So we do that by putting the tip of our tongue on the roof, behind the two front teeth, almost like you're saying the letter L. So again, your mouth isn't open, but it's just relaxed and just the lips are parted slightly. And then breathing naturally. And as thoughts arise, we can just bring our attention back to the breath again and again. So thoughts will arise, and just like a bubble rising to the surface of the pond, we can just let the bubble pop. Let that thought pop, let it go. Don't need to inspect it. We don't need to look at it, judge it. Our meditation isn't lost by having thoughts, but by going down the road with it. That's when we lose our meditation. So gently bring ourselves back to the breath again and again. And this attention on the breath is a very light attention. So we're not thinking, okay, back to the breath. Inhale, exhale. It's light attention, a Gossamerthan attention on the breath. So our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. And again, just letting any thought go, returning to the breath. So we're going to start with a short warm-up. Get my timer here. Okay, we're just going to try for 2 minutes to start. When you're beginning meditation, it's advised to start where you're at and not try to do, like a 45-minute meditation your first time. You slowly try to build the stability in your mind. So we'll start with 2 minutes and see how we do with that. Starting now. All right. So again, that was a warm up. We're just going to do a little bit longer now. And if you feel like today your mind feels especially busy or distracted, we can imagine that we're picking up our thoughts and throwing our thoughts out, or cutting our thoughts and tossing them away. So if that helps, you can use visualization like that to help cut the thoughts. So let's do a little bit longer now. All right, so we'll try that again, starting now. now that we've created some spaciousness in our mind and feeling a little more calm, we're going to do a meditation to develop our heart. So the practice of Tonglen, or giving and receiving, is done to develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. So this practice trains us to use the energy of loving kindness to open our hearts to the suffering, and to transform it into well-being. So in this practice, we actually imagine we are taking the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them all of our happiness. So this is a mental exercise in the immediate present. Doing this meditation won't remove someone's suffering, but by doing this practice, you will gradually cease to cherish yourself over others. So you will develop a stronger wish to be of benefit to beings and eventually leading to the ability to help beings with equanimity. Then you will be able to give them that happiness and relieve them of their suffering. So sitting again in meditation posture, we're going to begin by envisioning one or maybe two beings for who you easily feel compassion, or whose suffering particularly touches you. This could be a parent, this could be a child, a partner, a friend, it could be a dog or a cat or any animal, anyone you feel compassion towards easily. So we're going to really imagine their suffering or their sadness or all their misery. We're really going to put ourselves in their place, and imagine what their experience might be like. So really imagining, okay, what would it be to stand in these person's shoes, and letting that help you give rise to compassion. So in your heart, you cultivate the fervent wish to relieve their suffering, and to secure their happiness. So we do this by bringing the attention to our breath, following the natural rhythm of our breath. So we use our inhale and our exhale for this visualization. So as we breathe in, we're going to visualize inhaling through your nose, that you take in all the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And imagine that they become completely free of suffering, of all their sufferings, all their miseries, their sadness, whatever's going on. Completely free of that. You take that on into yourself. And as you breathe out, as you exhale, you visualize that you're sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness and joy. And you're imagining this as radiant, pure light. So you're sending out this beautiful, radiant, pure light, and you're bringing them limitless joy and happiness. So as you breathe in, you might think, may you be free from suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. So imagining that again in the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to imagine that, and we're going to try this for 3 minutes. And so we'll start that my timer starting now. So we're going to repeat this, and we're going to do the same practice, but this time we're going to visualize two people or one or two beings whom we feel intense anger or aversion towards, or extreme dislike. So again, this is to help expand our compassion to all beings, even for those we have a hard time even thinking that thought. Even if we feel that this person does not deserve any of our love or compassion, recognizing that they too are trying to be happy, just like us, that we're all beings are trying to be happy, whether or not they know how to do that, whether or not they're harming people in the process of doing that, or extremely confused about how to bring happiness into their lives. This is a practice to include them in our compassion. So it may be difficult at first to do something like this. It may be hard to do, but slowly as we chip away that hardness or anger towards certain people or beings lessens, and we can have a stronger sense of equanimity to all beings. So we're going to try this and just for a few minutes. So again, breathing in their suffering, and the inhale is like dark black smoke. And as the exhale, you're breathing out all your compassion, your love, all your greatest qualities, and imagining that they receive that and are just filled with happiness and joy. So we'll try this. And do your best. Do the best you can. All right. So for one more minute, we're going to expand that visualization out to include all of those for whom you have these similar feelings of distaste or anger or aversion towards. So expanding them out to anyone, anyone in your life or anyone in the world that you have any feelings of disdain or distaste for. And so we'll do that for another minute. All right. So again, as our meditation deepens and our hearts open, we can gradually increase the scope of our visualization to include larger groups of people until our loving kindness and compassion embrace all beings throughout existence. So imagine if we could just all do Tonglen. Everyone was taught Tonglen from a young age. It would be amazing. I don't know if there would be any conflict or any war or any distaste for one another if we truly practiced and learned this. So we're going to finish with a guided meditation. This meditation was written by our teacher Jetsunma. It's called the Light Expansion Prayer. So I will read it and you can just listen along. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. So with that, we will dedicate the virtue and the blessings of doing these meditations today together. Dedicate that to the benefit of all beings. And I'll put the dedications up on the screen now. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences as to be insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the rising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas all together. Whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for everyone joining online. We have something very special coming up tomorrow. It is the anniversary, it's the 40th anniversary of our prayer vigil here at KPC. This is a prayer vigil that's been going on 24 hours a day. So people come into this prayer room and take 2-hour shifts, and you wait until the next person comes to start another 2-hour shift. And we do this all through the night. So there's even a 2 to 4 a.m. shift, a 4 to 6 a.m. shift. We've been doing this unbroken for 40 years straight. And we are celebrating that tomorrow with a open house and many activities and tours going on around the property. There'll be also activities for kids. There'll be refreshments. Anyone can join. So that will be from 1 to 4 p.m. And before that, if you want to spend the whole day here, um, we have our regular Sunday program, which is through Jetsunma's blessing. She has asked Kempo Karze, our resident Kempo here, to teach on Sundays, teach meditation. So it's a meditation, a teaching, and a Q&A, and then a short group practice, Chinrezi practice at the end. So that starts at 11:30. So that will go from 11:30 to just before about 1. And it'll be a little break, and then some tea and cookies usually. And then the open house will be happening from 1 to 4. So please join us. This is a momentous moment to celebrate, and we hope that you come to KPC. All right, I'm going to end the live stream now. Thank you so much.